Hello and welcome to another edition of Discover Mercer County Business. I'm your host, Rod Wilt, and I'm the Executive Director of Penn-Northwest Development Corporation, and we are Mercer County's Pennsylvania Certified Economic Development Organization. Our motto is, make it in Mercer County, and our role is to create low-cost financing solutions for recruiting, retaining, and growing jobs and business opportunities in every corner of Mercer County. The sole purpose of this program is to showcase people and organizations that are making things happen here. We interview them to find out why they've chosen Mercer County, Pennsylvania as a great place to live, work, and play. We are producing this show in conjunction with Thiel College students, faculty, and staff, and we're coming to you from the state-of-the-art TV and radio studios in the James Pettis Communications Center here on Thiel's campus in Greenville. If you would like to connect with our improvement movement team to see how you can make it in Mercer County, please visit our website at penn-northwest.com or call us at 724-662-3705. You can also find us on YouTube by searching Penn Northwest Development Corp. or connect with us on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. We hope you enjoy this edition of Discover Mercer County Business, and with that, we welcome to our program today Eric Karmecy. Eric is the Division Chief at the West Central Job Partnership. They have two locations, one in Mercer, one in Lawrence County. They're in Sharon, PA. Eric, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Rod.
Eric, I'm just thrilled to talk about the employees and employer and that relationship in Mercer County. But before we get into that, West Central Job Partnership, tell us what that means.
Well, West Central Job Partnership is a 501c3. We were established back in 1986 to serve the workforce development and job training needs, not just for Mercer County, but also for Lawrence County. There are 22 organizations that do what we do across the state of Pennsylvania, and we're charged with delivering those services here in Western PA, West Central Pennsylvania. We have operations in two locations, both in Newcastle and in Sharon. And our administrative office is also located in Sharon. The overwhelming majority of our services are delivered through America Job Center Network, which in Pennsylvania is branded as the Pennsylvania Career Link. And so we have about 35 employees on staff, and the majority of those folks work through the Career Link office.
How would someone come in touch with Career Link? What happens in their lives for them to say, wow, I'm either mandated to or I should go down there and I got to find a job. What do I do?
Yeah. Well, what we've found is people are coming into our centers for a lot of different reasons. And we see people every day who, maybe they were making six figures yesterday and their company announced that they'll be closing. So they're in trying to visit us to figure out, what do I do next? We also see people who've never worked a day in their lives, people who are very low skilled, not making a lot of money, that don't know what the options are for them. They don't know maybe what skills they have that would be applicable to the current job market, and they're looking for ways to improve themselves or better themselves. We also see people who are working but maybe not happy in the job that they're in and want to know maybe if there's something more that they can acquire, some other skill or certificate or that would help promote them or help find them another job. So we see all kinds of people coming through our facilities every day. And
yeah, I want to ask you on that note, when someone comes to the facility, what do they see? What happens? And we'll talk about how
Sure.
COVID has changed that, but in the normal course of doing business, with all of our guests, I like to start like, what is normal? And then we'll get into what's changed, and hopefully we get back to normal in the future. But, what does someone that comes to the Career Link, what do they see when they walk through the door?
Well, they're greeted by our friendly greeter at the front.
Absolutely. Start it right there.
So when you come into our facilities in Sharon, we've got staff on the first two levels of the building. When you come in, you're greeted by our greeter. She understand, you express to her what you're there for, and we've got a number of options for people. We've got assessments. We've got computer resource area, which is where the bulk of the public coming in can access our job service and the computer lab in what we call the CRC, the Career Resource Center. But we also, in a normal area, and sometimes I forget what normal even is these
Right,
days,
right.
hold a whole host of workshops for individuals, resume writing, um, financial literacy workshops. If it's related to workforce, we probably have it there.
Interview skills,
Interview skills,
cover letter writing,
absolutely.
all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have all the newspapers, job postings. We're also linked in. We manage our own referral system, and we pre-screen individuals to match them with job openings in the center. We also have staff who are career counselors. They're licensed, trained counselors who can provide one-on-one custom services to individuals who qualify or who want that additional skill.
Is there any cost to anybody that comes into the center?
Absolutely not. The only thing that we charge a nominal fee for are employers who ask us to proctor custom examinations or assessments for them. And we have worked with a number of area businesses to help them assess individuals who apply for jobs. And oftentimes we will provide that as a custom service, but we also have off-the-shelf assessment tools for them to use as well.
Okay, so if I'm a business owner and I want to hire some people, but I want some testing done, I'll pay you a fee to do that testing and give me those independent results.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a nominal fee, and typically what we do is we ask them to become members of our Career Link, which right now we're waiving membership fees, but that offers you an even lower rate. We're talking, we're talking $5, $10 a person per test, depending on how many people are coming in. So it's a very modest fee. It's not a moneymaker for us, but it just covers that added expense of having to pay a proctor to be there to be able to proctor those exams.
I want to get into how you professionally came to West Central Job Partnership, but before we do that, I really want to. My role as the executive director of Penn-Northwest is to really promote business in all four corners of the county. So although you're located in Sharon, that's where the real estate is. What type of outreach do you do to companies in the Greenville Reynolds development, up through Greenville, Jamestown, over to Sandy Lake, Stoneboro, Jackson, Commerce Park, over into Grove City? How are you touching the rest of the county?
Well, as you know, and we find great value in being members of the organization and the chambers of commerce as well. So we stay in, we work with our community partners to make sure that they understand the full palette of services that we have available, so that when they're out networking with businesses, they oftentimes will make those referrals to us. But we also have dedicated staff. We have job developers, and we have members of what we call the business service team. And we've asked our lead economic development agencies to sit on that team. And these are the groups of individuals who work for us who are working more predominantly with the business customer. And they're tasked every day with reaching out to those employers, oftentimes employers who are posting jobs with us, who are looking for talent, and going out and talking to them about not just the job posting, screening, and referral service that's available to them through our center, but also other customized options, paid work experience, work-based learning.
So Eric, when you go out into the workforce and you're meeting with a business owner, what type of services are you offering his employees, either on site or maybe those that he wants to hire?
Well, the most obvious service is the job posting, screening, and referral service. So we do have resources. We have a labor exchange system that we manage internally through the Sharon facility, where folks can apply right from home. We can pre-screen those individuals and then get their resumes to those employers. But even beyond those services, as I mentioned earlier, we also have customized assessment services to be able to help with those employers. And then there's a whole host of work-based learning options. So things like paid work experience, for example. You may take a youth right out of college who doesn't have the work experience but maybe has the credentials or degree. And we can work with those individuals to sponsor them at an employer, pay them a wage for a period of time, usually about 300 hours, for the employer, so that they can determine if this is going to be the right fit. If it works, maybe that employer then hires them outright through an on-the-job training contract, whereas we will subsidize a portion of their wages, 50% of their wages for up to 6 months as they're learning on the job.
So wait a minute, that's two parts then, because you can almost like try before you buy with a
Yep.
particular employee. And then once you decide you want to hire them, then you have funds, whether the source is state or federal funds, that you can then help supplement their wages.
Absolutely. And even to take that a step further, Rod, we have worked quite frequently with employers to help them upskill their current employees, even employees who've been there for a number of years. If there's a particular certification or credential that's going to help promote them in that job and help also that company have a more valuable employee in the process, then we can absolutely subsidize a portion of those training expenses as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's important for our businesses around the county to know that the cost of upgrading their people doesn't have to fall 100% on their shoulders. So I'm thinking hypothetically, but maybe they upgrade their IT or they bring in a new set of machines and they need to skill up those workers. They can actually contact your office and you can help them fund some of that training. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing?
absolutely. Now, it depends on.
It all depends,
It,
but
there,
still,
there
but at
are
least
there are
it's a
certain
conversation,
limitations.
right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's an option that's on the table, depending on, what exactly their needs are.
And these job training dollars, they're just not for manufacturing or blue collar jobs. They're also for administrative support and other types of middle management type jobs. Is that true?
Absolutely. Now, the bulk of our funding goes to support high priority occupations, jobs that are in demand in Mercer County. But you'll see that across a number of industries, not just manufacturing and healthcare, but also in building and construction trades, business and financial services, logistics and transportation. There are a lot of good jobs in those industry sectors that can enable mobility, upward mobility, into a good career path. So that's where the bulk of our investments are being made in those types of jobs. Obviously, a lower skilled job, more entry level, requires a shorter learning curve, which equates to less training subsidies to enable them to get to that point.
Yeah, but every dollar counts, right?
Absolutely.
So one of the things I learned when I started to work with you folks a few months ago, um, I grew up in Mercer County, left, came back, here to stay, hopefully now for a considerable period of time. But you always hear there's no jobs here, there's no economic opportunity here. You really, you really flipped a switch in my head about how much is going on in Mercer County. So I know we're in COVID right now, but even during this period of time, what is the status of the workforce in Mercer County?
Well, unfortunately, we still are, we do have a high unemployment rate right now, and some industries have been hurt more than others as a result of COVID. And yet we have a lot of businesses that have never flinched, that were looking for qualified workers prior to COVID and have continued up until this point and are still searching for talent. So there's certainly, when I think of, uh, entry level to semi-skilled production jobs, and typically, the middle skill, semi-skilled production jobs. There's a huge demand for that right now, and we don't have a huge supply of workers who are prepared and ready to go to work in that particular field. So there are a lot of things that we're looking to try to offset those gaps. But there are jobs. We've got employers that are calling us every day. I just looked at the job posting list late last week. We had 250 plus job orders in there for Sharon, and that's just the ones that we're managing ourselves. There are other jobs, of course, people posting through Monster, Indeed, those types of resources that are spidered into our system. There are definitely jobs available.
Well, most people really don't touch the career link until they're laid off from a job. Is that a fair statement or not? Because that would be my impression, but maybe I'm not 100% correct there.
Yeah, no, I would say that, you're correct. I would say that the overwhelming majority of the folks who come in, look, they're not coming in because life's hunky-dory, right? They've been let go. They're looking to improve themselves. They're looking to advance. They're looking to knock the rust off. They're looking for something to better their lives, to improve their job status. So yeah, I mean, that being said, we also do see significant people who are working, who maybe even are making a good wage, but they're not comfortable in that industry, and they're looking to make a switch. And they're looking to see where they might have transferable skills.
Well, in COVID, have you seen people want to get into healthcare and people that want to get out of healthcare? Have you seen, you know what I mean? It would impact people differently depending on what their fear factor is and their personality and things like that.
Absolutely, and we've seen both of that. We've seen people jump and ship in a healthcare field who, don't want to
Be on the
put,
front line.
yeah, don't want to put themselves at risk. And we see other people who are like, I'm going to exploit this opportunity. This is a career field where I can make good money. They need me, and this is a great opportunity for me to get my foot in the door.
You know, you have about a 30,000-foot view of all employment sectors around the county. How would you describe Mercer County's business environment in terms of, are we multifaceted? Are we still focused primarily on manufacturing? If you were to describe Mercer Lawrence County, how would you describe our economy?
Yeah, I would still say that we're pretty traditional in terms of that. We still have, manufacturing is our lifeblood here, and of course healthcare, and that comes when you have, an aging population. I would love to see us, focus on the jobs of the future. I think we've been talking about this for a number of years, the IT, the technology type jobs. We've got to do a better job at preparing our young people for those jobs. But we don't have to export that talent anymore. What we've seen through COVID-19 now, what's been exacerbated as a result of that, is the fact that you can work from home. You could be working for a company in California right from your home here in Mercer County. But what we've got to do a better job of is getting our young people, and even our adults, the skills in those areas of the technology where they can be able to acquire those jobs even outside of Mercer County, and then use their income here to go shopping and to go
Yeah.
eat at our good restaurants. And
Yeah, I think, and I can speak for myself. I mean, in the last year, even in my mid to late 50s, the age-wise, that my use of technology, my knowledge of technology, from both a personal and a business standpoint, has exploded in the last 12 months. Have you seen that amongst the workforce as well?
absolutely, we've made a lot of adjustments and accommodations even for our own staff to be able to continue to connect as they have worked from home. So things like voice over internet protocol telephone systems, where folks can literally unplug their office phones and take them home and plug them in at home and be able to answer them as if they're there. Cell phones, laptop computers, Zoom subscriptions. We have made a ton of investment, even in Wi-Fi services, extending our Wi-Fi capabilities in our centers so that folks, if they're uncomfortable, can connect to the labor exchange right from their vehicles out in the parking lot, rather than coming inside if they're uncomfortable coming inside. So you name it, from a technology standpoint, we've gone there. We're in the process now of moving a lot of the workshops that we used to offer in person, taking those to a virtual platform. And we have moved a lot of them. We're not 100% there yet, but yeah, I think this has forced us to move a lot more quickly in that direction. Microsoft Teams. I didn't know what Microsoft Teams was before
Me
COVID.
neither. Me
Now
neither.
I'd be lost without it almost a year later. If I didn't have access to Teams,
You couldn't run your
it's like,
staff.
how am I communicating with my
Yeah.
people? So
Yeah, I look at the world we live in today, and there's some of it that has come out of this that I really like. I was on a call in our office this morning talking about how to hold a bunch of committee meetings in a short period of time before our next board meeting, and I just made the statement, I think I can do 6 or 8 a day,
yeah,
because with Zoom we can just turn it on, shut it off, turn it on, shut it off, and deal with it. You couldn't do 6 or 8 meetings in the old way of doing business, because it'd be people coming in, sticking around to chit chat,
yeah.
this and that. Now you put the agenda up, you run the meeting, say goodbye, click it off, we're done.
Save some trees. You can now, just
Right.
share your screen, show the documents, and navigate through them that way. I think that's really impressive. One of the other things that we kind of got the kick in the butt to finally do is e-signatures. Even for our contracts with employers, for our agreements with job seekers who are signing up for training, we've now put electronic signature in place so that we're not exchanging paper, mailing things, having people to have to come in and sign. We've moved in that direction almost overnight, and we've been talking about it for 15 years.
Yeah.
So
That's great. That's great. Talk specifically, and you mentioned it a little bit, but from the employment standpoint, COVID has certainly impacted the workforce. There's been some growth, some retraction, but what are some of the businesses that have grown during COVID that you've seen? Or is it certain sectors or certain types of products that we're making in the community that you've seen, wow, we get a job order from them, they need to hire another, 5, 10, 15 people? Are there certain employers out there you see doing, very well? Because I think public perception might be that everyone's having a really rough time.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. I can't, I don't want to name specific employers without having that.
Or just sectors, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I think, with manufacturing, we've seen quite a few. I know that Miller Industries, for example, they are so overwhelmed with business. Things are going so well there for them. They can't even keep up with production orders. Some of our machine shops that I've talked to in the region that are turning down jobs because they don't have the capacity to keep up with the volume there. Of course, healthcare. We've seen a number of folks in the healthcare just desperate for help.
So if a parent or student relative has a kid coming through the school system right now that maybe for financial reasons, or maybe it's just not their cup of tea, not looking at entering a 2 or 4 year college, and they want to get some skills, and they want to stay in the area. What are you seeing the demand for? Is it still the welding and machinists, electricians? What are some of if you had to make a David Letterman list of the top 10, I won't make it go all the way to 10, but the ones that you see a lot of, what is it? We hear when we're out doing our business calls, it's welders. We hear that a lot, but what are you seeing? What does the data tell you?
Well, it is all that, and we have employers right here, right now that need to fill those jobs. Again, I'm looking at semi-skilled production, machine operators, machinists, in healthcare, nursing. We are always, as you know, in this region, inundated with demand for truck drivers. But I'm thinking more 5, 10 years out. With the automation and the driverless trucks, and I don't know, I can't imagine us getting there in the next 5 years, but I'm always trying to think about those types of things. What can we do now to prepare young people for jobs that may not necessarily even be right here, but they're good jobs and they can work in those jobs from here? And I always go to the technology, and I really think that computers and high tech. Not that we have, we do have some of those jobs here, but we don't have as much as I think. As you're seeing in other parts of the country. And even talking to our own IT staff who service us, it's near impossible for them to find folks to add to their staff because they could be growing. I talked to a couple of those organizations, one down in Newcastle and one up here in Hermitage, and he tells me too, he's turning down business because he doesn't have the capacity to serve all these companies.
From the workforce
From
side.
an IT perspective, yeah, on the workforce side, he can't find enough people who are qualified to work for him that he would trust to send into one of his business customers and meet their IT demands. So I think we can do, a better job from that perspective. I think we need to look, down the road of what's coming and what opportunities are there. At the same time, we obviously have customers, businesses here who are struggling to meet those demands. So we've got to continue to address those while also looking to the jobs of the future.
The other thing that amazed me from being in your office is just the amount of data that you have. We've had employers call us and say, hey, I'm taking on this order, but for the first time, I need a carpenter. What's a good carpenter wage? We're able to call you folks, and you were able to deliver almost like a packet of information to us, just built around that one job or some of the ancillary jobs just around carpentry. So, talk a little bit about that, because I think when we talk about the West Central Job Partnership, we're always looking at it from the employee standpoint, but you spend a lot of time talking to employers, not just about what skills they need, but also how to structure that job based on industry standards and what the region is paying for that particular type of worker.
Exactly, and we have so many resources at our disposal to help employers not only with that wage data, but also in helping them take a closer look at their job descriptions, the way that they're classifying their jobs, career path models that are out there. Of course, they're are sources of information that we've used over the years to help us with labor market information. The U.S. Census, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Pennsylvania has a great organization called the Pennsylvania Center for Workforce Information and Analysis. We call it CWIA, an acronym that works. They've done an excellent job over the years at refining their online platform and getting more higher quality data in real time to be able to look at forecasts and projections. But then also recently, in partnering with groups like Penn-Northwest and even Lawrence County Economic Development Corporation in Newcastle, we've been able to secure the Chmura Jobs EQ platform, which has enabled us to really pull this.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk just a few seconds about that, because it's a great tool.
Sure, yeah, this is a proprietary tool. These folks, this is all they do is data, and it's a internet-based system where we're able to go in with this licensing agreement and look at everything from soup to nuts in terms of workforce development and economic development trends for our area. Not just for Lawrence and Mercer counties, but we can compare data here, different demographics and labor projections, wages, but not just for our own communities, but juxtaposed to Pennsylvania as a whole, even defining our own region over into Ohio. As you know, Rod, we work closely with our colleagues just across the Ohio border. So we have the ability now to custom, down to area code levels, define our region and extract data using this tool. And it's the data's accurate, and they've got reporting mechanisms built in that are just tremendous and offer us the flexibility to build reports based on the end user's need.
Yeah, we have our members now calling us for some of that info. We're just rolling it out, and we're trying to figure out ways to market it. But just talking about it in this context, hopefully someone listening to the program says, hey, I need to call Penn-Northwest, or I need to call Eric Karmecy at the West Central Job Partnership and tap into it. Eric, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about your path, your career path, where you're born and raised, how you came to your job. You're a sharp young guy, making Mercer County, Lawrence County region your home. We're going to come back and talk about that right after this.
Looking to expand and grow? Then Mercer County, Pennsylvania is the right place for you. Whether your company is involved in manufacturing, technology, logistics, health, or business services, shale gas exploration, or retail, we can help. Mercer County, Pennsylvania offers low-cost land, valuable infrastructure, a quality labor force, and the right financial tools to make your corporate expansion an affordable reality. Mercer County is only a day's drive to major markets including Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, New York City, Chicago, and even southern Canada. Companies like GE Transportation, Joy Cone Company choose to make it in Mercer County, and Penn-Northwest wants to show you how your company can also make it in Mercer County too. Our team of experts will help you expand and save dollars. How does Penn-Northwest do it? How does Penn-Northwest save companies so much money? With a combination of low-interest loans, grants and credits, tax abatements, and even tax-free property. Here's the best part. Penn-Northwest will do most of the work for you. Just click on the button below and get the process started. Or you can first get an idea of how your organization can make it in Mercer County by using the savings estimator located at makeitinmercercounty.com. You'll see that expanding your business in Mercer County, Pennsylvania is the move that makes the most dollars and cents. Call Penn-Northwest Development Corporation at 724-662-3705 for more information.
And we are back on Discover Mercer County Business. We're joined today by Eric Karmecy, Division Chief at the West Central Job Partnership. Eric, I'm very interested in this segment of our program, really digging deep into my guest and how they came to this position. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then segue that into what is your leadership style? You're a young guy, but you got a lot of people reporting to you across 2 different counties, and it's a big job, and I want to know how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was born right here in Greenville, Pennsylvania, 41 years ago. So my mom is from Newcastle. I grew up in Neshannock Township. Still live there today. I've got 3 young kids under 6, so I stay busy at home too. But I graduated from Grove City College back in 2002, and a few months later saw an ad in the newspaper for a job development position in Newcastle, and I thought, hey, this is an opportunity for me to stay close to home, to work in a professional environment, and so I applied, and 18 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, but there's got to be some stops in between that kept you going. So
There were, and I had some really excellent mentors along the way that encouraged me, that gave me the ability to form my own path here, and to recognize that we can do some really great things. As we're a nonprofit organization, so there are a lot of intrinsic rewards. I've had the luxury of working with a lot of different people, a lot of different businesses over the years, and to see people whose lives have been transformed and changed for the better as a result of the work that you do. There's no amount of money that you can place on that. So it's an awesome thing. In terms of the leadership, though, that's one of the greatest things I think about our organization is our staff and our personnel. We've got a lot of people who stick around. Retention is not an issue for us. And I think
and why do you think that is? Do you think that culture allows people to really buy into the socioeconomic mission of retraining and training people for life-changing, work?
I do, and it gets back to those intrinsic rewards. I think we've done a really nice job of hiring good people and then training them and giving them some autonomy to go out and trust to do their jobs effectively. And we have, that's not to say that we haven't had our share of challenges over the years, but we've got just an amazing group of people. We operate in a business where, you have a new governor comes in, you have new legislation, where these programs and services that we operate out of, they change, they evolve, they change. And we've created, I think, a workforce that is agile and has the sort of the institutional knowledge and expertise to be able to adapt. As new programs are rolled out, there's almost like nothing we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
We've got folks on our staff who sort of roll with the punches. And I think a lot of that goes back to the leadership that we had where, I don't think we've ever let folks get totally comfortable in one job. We talk a lot about cross-training between jobs. We like folks to, we've maneuvered people into certain different programs and responsibilities. For example, somebody may be working with adults today who are working with dislocated workers or youth next year. Because as the funding pools change, oftentimes you have to maneuver and manage staff in that way too. So,
and then let me just stop you there, because obviously you had a pretty quick rise through the organization now to be a division chief. Did you touch a lot of those spots on the org chart on your way through?
Absolutely. I think I'm in my 5th position now. Like I said, I started sort of at the bottom of the pyramid there with as a job developer. So when I started, I could be working with folks who were receiving welfare to work type of assistance who had a ton of barriers to employment, and my job was to try to get them gainfully employed. I was also working with dislocated workers at the time and writing OJTs. I think I wrote 57 OJT contracts in my first year.
Those are on the job training contracts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So forging new relationships with businesses. I think in some ways it helped to be a little naive in that position. I had a lot of doors slammed in my face from time to time, but you just keep forging ahead. And then I was fortunate enough to get promoted to a workforce development manager position back in 2006 when Rendell had Job Ready PA. He started talking about industry consortia and trying to bring together smaller groups of employers in industries, in regions, and threw a lot of grant funds at them. And those funds actually helped us introduce new employers to our system and establish relationships with employers here. Now, over the years, those funds dissipated, and unfortunately, a lot of those companies have been bought and sold since. We had retirements, and when you don't have the funding there, it's harder to give that kind of customized attention to them. But then we had interstate region, federal grants, discretionary grants that we went after and working with our colleagues across the Ohio border. And we were able to attract a ton of resources for this area to start looking at what are the commuting patterns, not just to Erie and Pittsburgh, but east and west, over to Youngstown.
So when we see what's going on over in Lordstown, with the electric vehicle and all the ancillary businesses, how at West Central Job Partnership do you see Mercer County being able to benefit from that from a workforce perspective?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is we are, this is a region. We've never looked at ourselves or defined ourselves by any one city or community. We are a shared region. We really look at a 5-county footprint here for Eastern Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. We've always sort of felt that about ourselves. So what's good for them over there in Trumbull, Mahone, and Columbiana counties is going to be good for us too. We've got workers who are mobile and will go to work over there. Unfortunately, when you see a Lordstown Motors shut down, you see that the facility shut down. We've got workers affected in that regard too. So,
but is there a job retraining component there, perhaps, as the EV, the electronic or the electric vehicle comes on board, and all the other ancillary businesses that are starting to erupt around it?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I just talked to another nonprofit organization over there that's working with that. They're almost serving exclusively as their recruitment arm. And they've talked about coming over here to set up some designated recruitment time in our Career Link downtown Sharon. So they want to work with us. They want to talk about some of the resources that we would be able to have to help some of those companies over there as well.
Eric, that is fantastic. I could go on and on and on. Unfortunately, we're running down. We're running down on time, and I do need to wrap it up. But how do people get in touch with the Career Link or the West Central Job Partnership, whether they're a worker looking for a new job or to upgrade or to get retrained, or an employer that's looking to avail themselves of your services? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best thing to do is to give us a call, and I can get the phone number out. Obviously, the website too is www.wcjp.org. You can stop in and see us at the Career Link anytime. We're at 217 West State Street, right downtown Sharon, behind Ryer's Shoes.
You'll be open for right by Ryer's Shoes. I think
That's right.
I stepped on you there, but you're going to be open for business again, and you've gotten approval now from the state to reopen your doors for walk-in traffic, or at least appointments, beginning when?
On February 16th, next Tuesday.
Okay, fantastic. It's been a long layoff for you, right?
It has. It's been off and on, but we're looking forward to getting back into a recurring business model here.
Awesome. Eric, it's been great over the last several months getting to know you and your organization. You do such a great job. I'm thrilled you came on with us today to talk to our employees and employers about all the great things you have going on. Such a sharp young guy. And I want to thank you, our audience, for watching this edition of Discover Mercer County Business. Again, I want to thank our guest, Eric Karmecy, for making it in Mercer County. We're producing this show in the state-of-the-art TV and radio studios in the James Pettis Communications Center on Teal's campus here in Greenville. We want to thank the students, faculty, and staff who have helped bring this show to life. If you have an idea or a suggestion for a future edition of Discover Mercer County Business, please connect with our Improvement Movement team on our website at penn-northwest.com or call us at 724-662-3705. And remember, you can also find out more about Penn-Northwest Development Corporation by searching for us on YouTube or connecting with us on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Discover Mercer County Business, and we'll see you again next time.